Hello and welcome to On the Other Hoof on one of our less busy weekends. With only 6 races to cover, we are marking tonight the halfway point of the Paddy Power meeting at Cheltenham. Paddy Power is ahead. Also looking forward to Sunday, we have the Schlur Chase where Sprinter Sacra makes his reappearance, and also the Greatwood Hurdle with the likes of Devilment and Co going to post in what doesn't look a vintage renewal, but a competitive one at that. We'll touch on that all a little bit later on. We have 4 races from Cheltenham to cover for Saturday's meetings, and also 2 from Wetherby to throw in. And I'm sure this guy sitting next to me would appreciate talking about Lingfield a little bit. It was to have a couple of fast track qualifiers for all-weather championships day a little bit later on for next year, a little bit later on in the all-weather season. Introducing our, well, I say guests tonight, they're pretty much regulars now, with Adam Webb and Timeform's Callum Adele. Good evening, gentlemen.
We've been regulars for the last 2 years. I don't know how we're guests now.
Well, Michael took over for one show.
Yeah, very good point, actually. Yeah, he took over.
We're just not even part of the furniture yet.
Look, hey, if you used me as On the Other Hoof's editor to get by in your university,
I did
coursework, then it's my show, okay?
It's a great job editing as well.
Oh, you know, I had to iron out a few mistakes because you are illiterate, but
perfect copy.
But naps last week, we did okay. We had 2 seconds and a first, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. Our camper got done by a really, really slow pace.
That should have won. Should have won. Crap ride. And I don't say that often, but it was a bad ride.
And in fairness, I think we all very much agreed on Bridge of Sighs, although I took the nap. Yeah. But we gave him a very strong mention.
Yeah, without me, you wouldn't have napped it. So
8-1, but then got sent off 11-4. So you wish you could have took the price on that, because then it'd be
What you mean took the price as what we tipped him up here on the Other Hoof, saying he's 8-1.
Yeah, but the rule is we go.
Oh no, don't mind about that. Look, Adam, you might be in this for your own financial gain, but I'm in this for the guys watching this show. I'm a team player. That's what we always go for.
Just saying.
You know, if you're in it for your own game, then so be it. That's fine on you. But I'm in it for the guys watching at home. I'm sure Callum is as well. So. You know, last week it was Jackie Kingdom that you were having to go at. This week it's the viewers. You know, I'm just saying.
I'm not going to go at nobody. I'm just saying, if I was in it for myself, I'd be absolutely screwed. But
okay, buddy. Okay, that's a bit of a sour start to the show, I have to say. We have 6 races though, as mentioned at the top of the show, to cover. 4 from Cheltenham, 2 from Wetherby. May even touched on a couple over at Lingfield as well, and then a short preview of Sunday's action. Coming up at Cheltenham with the Schlur Chase and also the Greatwood Hurdle taking place. Get in touch with the show as well. At On the Other Hoof is our Twitter tag. Already plenty of questions coming in. We'll read all of them out at the end of the show. Also, what are your fancies? Do tweet them to at On the Other Hoof, and we'll try and read out every fancy and question at the end of the show. But let's get straight stuck into the action. We have the 150 from Cheltenham starting us off. The Murphy Group Handicap Chase, a grade 3 over 3 miles, 3 furlongs and 71 yards. 17 going to post here, Adam. And stamina is going to have to be assured, but plenty of these for the long run, maybe will have the Grand National as their target.
Potentially. This race stand the years. I was surprised when I looked at the previous winners, which we did just before we came on air. Majority of them would likely be Grand National horses, but some of them have even gone to run in the Gold Cup. Now, I don't see any of these potentially being anywhere near Gold Cup horses, because this year's renewal just looks a vintage renewal. But there are horses in here that I do think are ahead of their marks, mainly towards the top of the market. Sausalito Sunrise is one of them, but the concern you've got to have is that comeback run where he was travelling really well, jumped 5 out at Chepstow and stopped very quickly. Now, no excuses came to light, so if he is A-OK and 100%, I think he could easily win this tomorrow, but I've just got that in the back of my mind. Sego Success is a horse I do like. He ran well in the National Hunt Chase. He didn't quite get home, and a drop back in trip here will help him, but he needs to jump better than what he did in that same race behind Dropout Joe. I'm going to avoid Audacious Plan. That could be a very dangerous thing to do tomorrow. He's becoming a clip horse, and I don't want him to be. So I'm going to leave him tomorrow. I can see him running well. The selection I'm going to go with is Cogri, who has gone well fresh in the past. He won his chasing debut. It's not his chasing debut, actually. He fell on his chasing debut, but he came out on his second start and won a novice handicap at Chepstow on really deep ground. The rain is coming tomorrow, so the ground won't be an issue for him. Ran well at the festival. There's another non-stayer in the National Hunt Chase. He has been price-wise as well, unfortunately, but he's a horse I do think is ahead of his mark, and this is the right trip for him. Ryan Hatch claiming 3 is no negative for me. he would be the selection. There are others at bigger prices I could see going well, like Black Thunder, who Paul Nicholls sent out to win this with Sam Winner a year ago of top weight. He'll be a much easier ride than Sam Winner will, but I can see him going well at a price. I think he'd be more forward than some of his other runners, like Just a Par, who's in here, and the stable tour, he said he'll need the run badly. It's hard to get the weight off him. Cogri is the fancy here. Black Thunder will go well at a price.
It's a wide open race. It's hard to nail your colours to just one horse. Personally, for me, I've taken two each way. I did have Just a Par in that as well, but after the Paul Nicholls comments in his stable tour, you'd have to really go against Just a Par for tomorrow. But later on in the season, he could be a live candidate for some of these staying handicap chases. I thought Seoul could be an interesting one for the David Pipe Yard. They could have a pretty big day tomorrow, actually. They've got pretty forward contenders in most of the handicaps, including the Paddy Power with King's Palace that we'll get to a little bit later on. But Seoul was an interesting horse last year. He topped off the sport, ended the season by finishing ninth, which wasn't a bad run in the Grand National behind Many Clouds. Before that, he had won at Exeter and also at Newbury, one of them coming in a veterans chase, and both of them similar sort of events. But he knuckled down well on that occasion. It's not been long since he moved from the Joe Hughes yard as well. So with David Pipe now, he could potentially be improving off a mark of 146 as well. He shouldn't be too far away. He has gone well also in the past, off the back of a bit of an absence. So it'll be interesting to see how he progresses tomorrow. About 14 to 1, I can see him going okay at an each way price. And also throw in Larev as well, who, if you're a long time watcher of On the Other Hoof, you may remember myself and Callum being fairly keen on Larev for the Bet365 Gold Cup last year. He ran a blinder in that to come third. Maybe just didn't see how the grueling 3-5 around Sandown. I think tomorrow he should strip a much fitter than he did at Ascot on his reappearance. He travelled well on the whole that day. Jumped okay, just got pulled up. I got very tired late on. I'd imagine Larev would strip much fitter for tomorrow. He'll have bigger targets down the line, don't get me wrong in that regard, but the ground shouldn't be a worry either with the rain coming, as he was second to Rocky Creek in the Racing Plus chase, Racing Post chase, whatever you want to call it, at Kempton in February. But for me, Seoul and Larev, the two to side with, both each way. It's not really a race to get too heavily invested in betting wise. Anything you found, Cal?
I think it's really competitive. Lots to consider. Those two at the head of the betting, I think, were taking on. Upswing, he's a weird horse, Upswing. I've never felt that when it comes push comes to shove, he's really a battler. And I could be wrong with that. I mean, I remember him winning, I think, over hurdles on really horrible ground at Newbury.
Yeah, Newbury beat Ride and
Pines. Yeah. But I'm just not fully convinced with him over this trip either. He's not a horse that I think has shapes if this is badly needed. And I could leave him as favourite. Sassly says Sunrise looked to be going really well last time behind Dropout Joe, and then just dropped out like something was badly amiss. And I couldn't back him off the back of that. If I'm honest.
Wait. Adam, did you back Sausalito Sunrise last time?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, okay.
Shut up.
That'd have explained a lot.
I mean, they found nothing out of it either, which just seems really worrying to me.
Best bit about that, very quickly. They interviewed Philip Hobbs. They asked him what was wrong. He said, I don't know. Did they interview Richard Johnson, the stewards? No, they didn't. So it's baffling. No. Nothing came out of it.
It'll be interesting to see if Sausalito Sunrise is back tomorrow. The cynic in me wants to see that. But
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, go on, Kat.
Obviously got an injury after Kempton when he fell, but there's a lot to consider. I think Seago's success is rock solid. His jumping, he blundered at 1 or 2. His jumping got a bit tardy when he got tired late on, but he just shapes as if he badly needed the run. And for me, he looked at least second or third best the whole way round, and he's finished 5th. He just needed it. I think he's a horse that will appreciate this sort of test. He was a good 5th in the at the festival in the National Hunt Chase, where it was a race that just didn't work out for him. Well, it didn't work out for a lot of them, did it? It was a weird race. So I think he's your most likely winner. I think Audacious Plan's got rock solid chances. I think this trip will suit that horse. And a couple at price, I thought Larev was interesting. Might still need the run. I know they're aiming towards the Beecher Chase after this, but I think that might be a horse that could just make the frame. Azure Fly, I don't think is without a chance. That was going really well when it made a horrible blunder. And last time behind What's Happening. If that's 25 to 1 and Audacious Plan is 11, so I mean, there's very little between them on that form. So that's overpriced. So there's a lot to be interested in. Seagate success, I think he's your most likely winner.
Yeah, it's an interesting race to get it started off. Anyway, we've already got a few tweets in as well, Adam.
Talk of the town.
Belittling you.
I always get belittled, don't I?
A few choice words that I don't wish to repeat on this family show of On the Other Hoof. But Phil Dinsdale.
It's not the watershed yet.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're not past 9 o'clock, but Phil Dinsdale says, berates you, saying that Coggery was one of his fancies, and he puts in a negative word as well with that. And then our ex-superfan, Hattie Fuller, says a 4-letter word beginning with F, sake. Adam, that was my fancy too.
Well, I'll make a point actually before we continue. My form recently has been, I could use a word beginning with S, beginning and ending in T to describe how it's gone lately. So, sorry, I've put my knockers on Coggery, and I'll probably put my knockers on everything else that anybody fancies watching tomorrow. So, yeah, I need a miracle. Oh.
Did you take your antidepressants today?
I'm not a depressing person. At least I'm being honest and saying that my form has been shocking. I'm not going to sit here and say it's good, am
I? Apologies, Adam. Apologies on that front. Let's move on to Wetherby. Happier climbs here with the 205. The first of 2 visits on the afternoon. The Tote Scoop 6 handicap chase over 2 miles, 3 furlongs and 85 yards. Just the 6 runners going to post here, Adam. And unfortunately for me, we agree on this one with the Beaumois.
Yeah, if this gets beaten tomorrow, then seriously, I need help. He's shaped really well on his comeback at Ayr, and in a race where I've got question marks about most of the others, I think he is the most solid option. The next in the market is a horse that Callum followed off a cliff in Elenica, who is a strong traveller, but never saw his races out. It's interesting that he's been off for over a year. I'm going to assume he's been injured. If he comes back and he's actually able to put the way he travels into a race, he's able to put it into a finish, and he could be the main danger. Another point I will want to make about Wetherby: how much rain are they due up there? Because it's already soft ground now.
If they've got any rain that's been, the rain that's been near us for the last 24 hours, then a fair deal. A fair deal.
Yeah, it's going to be really testing tomorrow. So yeah, it place I wouldn't be wanting to have a battle, but I just think Deville Armagh could be just way clear of his rivals here. He's a clear one to beat for me.
Yeah, I think Devon was an absolute certainty as well, to be honest. Sue Smith's in pretty decent form. Danny Cook as well, riding as well as ever since coming back from his banner there last time out. Both the Beaumois and Back to Braca were a long way clear of the rest. Horseback in third had a slipping saddle. Everything fell off on that occasion as well. So they were even further clear of their latest, nearest eligible contender. I think both of those could be fairly well handicapped types. It was off a mark of 125 on that occasion. Off 127 tomorrow shouldn't be beyond him. I think odds about 15 to 8. I think pretty decent in what looks to be a fairly uncompetitive race. The closest pursuer in the market is Elenica, who's coming back from a long absence. But we do have a huge fan of Elenica on our panel. Who last time Elenica was running, you were going off Brighton Pier. I have to say, I had to remind him as well earlier on that Elenica was a clipboard, so it is.
I backed it like maybe twice.
Maybe 5.
It's a bridle horse.
It's a huge bridle horse.
It's a bridle horse.
Yeah. Are you siding with Elenica tomorrow?
No.
Are you refusing to cover Wetherby?
Yeah.
With that said, Callum is also on to Beaumois. A clean sweep for Sue Smith in the first race over at Wetherby that will be covering. The 225 at Cheltenham is our next visit to Jumping's headquarters. Paddy Power, Gold Cup, a Grade 3 handicap. Over 2.5 miles, 78 yards chucked on the end of that. Again, Adam, we were talking, the other day really. It's a competitive race. Not really anything in the field that would leap out and say that that's got real Grade 1 ability, whereas the likes, in the past, we've had the likes of John Spirit, who has gone on to contest Grade 1s, Alfaroff also in that bunch. Little Josh was a pretty useful handicapper as well in his day.
Yeah, I find this a really interesting race. Feel like I've got quite strong opinions on this race. To start with, there's going to be plenty of pace on, and that's where I can throw King's Palace at straight away, because I have him down as a small field bully. And he's got the likes of Boone Doomer to take him on. He's got Art Moresco who'll go forward, Cocktails at Dawn who'll go forward, Anacotti who could potentially go forward. There's plenty of front runners in here, and I just think that they're going to push him forward so far enough. Next Sensation, another one right down at the bottom. And I just think he'll get to the, he won't go. He probably will. This is his style of running.
2.5 miles, and they won't want to. No, 2.5 miles, and he won't be right until Cheltenham.
True. Well,
Annoying.
It's amazing what happens with some horses. That spring air does them the world of good. Anyway, King's Palace, I think, will get to the bottom of the hill. He'll have been pressured often enough, and I think he'll fall in a hole. Similar comments apply to Cocktails at Dawn, who I think is similar to King's Palace, in the fact that his last 2 runs, he's gone forward and has had a very easy time of it. So I'm interested to see how he gets on. The first of my selections, I like Generous Ransom at a price. He won on trials day on soft ground, and whilst he ran well at the festival, I had a nagging suspicion that I actually think the ground was slightly against him on the day, and I just think with this rain due, I think he could go really well tomorrow at a bigger price than some of these. I can't keep John Spirit out of the equation. I think he's definitely in the 4, or if you want to back him, most bookies are doing 5 places with this, quarter of the odds, and you can forgive him his run at Aintree because he got cannoned into by Rajani Express. He ill-fated at Rajani Express, which was a horrible shame for him. And Richard McClellan looked after him after that with just to mind him, basically. And I think he'll go really well here, especially because he gets his beloved Cheltenham, 2.5 miles on the old course. He'll get a fast-paced sway map. The ground isn't a concern either because he was second in a glue pot last year, so he's only a pound higher. I think he's got solid each-way claims. The other one, I'm kind of robbing this from Luke, really, because everybody has mentioned Boone Doomer, and he was an insulting price earlier on in the day, and I've had to back him at 11-1 each way, 5 places, because that win at Cheltenham, he was impressive, and I had a slight doubt about him, but then I've had a second look at it. He's related to stayers in Rocky Creek and Telmacine, so I think he'll go really well tomorrow. He's one of the front runners that I think if he does get pestered, he'll be one that will probably be able to stay there. There are others in the race I consider, but the main 3 would be Boone Doomer, John Spirit, and I'll put up as a main selection, I'll say Generous Ransom.
I'd be stunned if they led with Boone Doomer tomorrow.
Yeah,
they don't want to.
Absolutely stunned.
They don't want to. Will Kennedy was saying on ATR earlier that they don't want to lead with him, but they will probably go more forward with him. They won't hold him up.
Yeah, they'll take a lead. Which I think personally, the fast pace will find horses out, like with the likes of Bywise. You know, you've got the horses want to go forward. Art Moresco will go forward. Also, King's Palace will go forward. Boone Doomer won't be far away. Don't get me wrong. Anacotti will go forward. I imagine Present View wouldn't want to be too far away.
No.
From the early pace.
He wasn't, leading the whole way last time, was he? I mean,
no.
I think he led until something like the 8th, and then was prominent throughout, and then took the lead again when he was going like a tank.
He was so impressive that day. I mean, I completely dismissed him on the back of it was 2 miles, and I didn't think 2 miles was his trip whatsoever. But he was so impressive that day, beating some pretty decent horses as well. You won't see a horse in handicaps around Cheltenham go around Presbury Park faster than that. Up to 2.5 miles tomorrow, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for him. Myself and Callum were having a conversation earlier on that you seem to always forget that the Paddy Power is over 2.5 miles. So the lesser staying 2 mile types do get away with it. Whereas if it's 2 mile 5, the 3 milers then would come into this more with stamina doubts. Wouldn't really be convenienced by a 2.5 mile trip. But Manduma, I think, jumped perfectly last time, travelled really strongly. If he can settle, which he should do, because he's going to get a very fast pace tomorrow, then he's going to have every single chance for as the OBE, Dr. Richard Newlands. Anything else I've missed out?
No, sir.
I said sir.
Okay, that's fine.
But siding with Bunduma for win purposes, I thought at bigger price, well, not really similar prices, really. I keep going around to Irish Cavalier as well, who I was shocked only went up £5 for that last win. It was the first time really I've come for Irish Cavalier, but he's so tough and so hardy. He was a winner at the festival last year. He then went on to Punchestown, where he wasn't beaten all that far by Valserlido, a horse that on form he shouldn't really have had too much of a chance with. After that, he then ran at Punchestown once more. And again, wasn't beaten all that far by Blood Cotil. He's a very tough, very genuine, and very hardy horse for the Rebecca Curtis yards. He's had one run already this season, winning at Newton Abbot, beating Henryville. He's down. He could have won by about 20 lengths. He won by a minimal distance in the end. But I've got the feeling that Rebecca Curtis's charge have been needing it a little bit on their first run this season. He managed to win in his first run. He could be a lot better than a mark of 156 suggests. And if he does win tomorrow, then graded races will await him. One at a bigger price as well with Double Ross, who shaped very well over 3 miles last time out. A horse that just doesn't stay 3 miles. Finally, things seem to fall into place behind Pendra. He ran okay on that day. He has been up £3 for that. Ryan Hatch takes £3 off. He was riding on that occasion. But back down to 2.5 miles. He has a fantastic record in these sort of races at Cheltenham. I thought 20 to 1 could be a big enough price about Double Ross. But the main two for sure will be Boon Duma and Irish Cavalier for myself. And you were maybe more so on price. You were a fan of Buywise, but Price-wise has ruined that for you.
Yeah, I'm hoping it drifts tomorrow. I doubt it now. But if there's only 14 to 1 available, I'll 100% back that each way. Look, I mean, Buywise is a horse that a lot of people have fallen off a cliff because it constantly shapes well in races. It's obviously not the best at jumpers at times. It certainly didn't do well in the jumping department last year. Got a shocking ride at the festival when probably I think it was the best. It shaped like the best horse in the race. Thought he jumped well in the main last time at Aintree. I thought it shaped pretty well with an eye to this race and with potentially strong pace tomorrow. With Evan Williams absolutely on fire. I mean, he's having winners left, right, and centre. I think the ground will be perfect for it because it is a horse that does shape as if a little bit further probably suits it now. And I think over this trip, the more stamina, inducing it's going to be, I think the more it'll suit it. Like, I mean, Kai de Burle, obviously, Kai de Burle won it last year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's a similar type in that he does stay further and he got there late. And I think Buywise can do similar tomorrow. Look, if you follow this horse of a cliff, there is absolutely no reason why he shouldn't do tomorrow. No, there isn't. I mean, everything's pointing towards it running a big race.
Then again, there hasn't been a reason for you to go against it the last few times.
No, obviously went on favourite Aintree. And last time I thought was potentially just a prep for this, to be honest. Look, there's a lot to consider. I think it's a really competitive race, as ever. Boon Duma, I've been a fan of for this race for quite a while. He was wildly impressive at the opening meeting. And I think 2.5 miles would be perfect for it. I think it'll run a big race. Irish Cavalier, on hindsight, I thought was poorly handicapped, but looking at it again, that might have a bit more to offer. That might end up being the best horse of this race.
Yes, for me, with Irish Cavalier, I think sky's the limit. I have no idea how good he could be, to be honest.
I'll be against King's Palace now. Just there's so much pace on. He does look a soft horse to me. Although I have said this is his trip. I've always said this is his trip.
I completely agree with that. I think he jumps better the faster he goes.
I don't think he's a 3 miler at all. John Spirit, I think, will be thereabouts. Obviously, he went close last year. He's off a similar mark. He should have the race run to suit. Ground okay for him?
Yeah, fine. He was second in a glue pot last year, so and fast pace will really help him. This is his track and trip, so everything's ideal for a big run.
I could talk about a few more, but Buywise, I will very likely back. I've already backed Boon Duma at 11s.
Yeah, I think we've all backed Boon Duma actually.
Don't forget as well, very quickly, John Joe O'Neill gave his dark horse for the season, John Spirit. So keep an eye on him.
Yeah, but, come on,
give it.
John Joe O'Neill. God's sake.
I think it's time for him. I think it was. Give us one to follow, John Joe. Go on, then I'll give you John Spirit.
Whoever did that interview is just going, oh, for God's sake. It's John Joe O'Neill at the end of the day. He's not gonna say, oh yeah, I've got this one. I think it's absolutely. He's got about 2 stone in hand. But I'll let you guys.
He's rated 97, but we're going to aim at the Ryanair.
To be fair, I can imagine John Joe saying it with a twinkle in his eye as well as he's saying it. Yeah, they'll take it and run with it.
Mega troll.
we have just got a Snapchat from Michael Andrews actually, who is currently in a restaurant eating food of some sort. I assume
that looks outstanding.
Yeah, I assume it's actually with my parents.
It looks like a steak. Hollandaise or Bernese or whatever.
I have a feeling it is with my parents on that regard. He sees them more than I do. We'll move on. Move on to 3 o'clock at Cheltenham. The regulatory Finance Solutions handicap hurdle, a listed hurdle over 3 miles, 1 furlong, and 67 yards. 16 goes post. It's wide open handicapping wise at Cheltenham tomorrow afternoon. And by request of Adam Webb, I have been told to start with you because Batavia is a horse that you put up as a horse to follow, and with an eye to this race or similar in particular.
Yeah, got nothing else to add to that really.
Right, Adam, your thoughts?
I liked him last year. Obviously, when they got him from France, he was really impressive at Wincanton, especially on Boxing Day, which came 7 days after impressing at Ascot. Last run at Doncaster, he just clearly a miss. He went off 6-4. He really disappointed. Maybe the good ground was against him. It was properly good ground for that time of year. I definitely think he wants it softer, which he should get tomorrow. I think it should be ideal. And he really does shape as if 3 miles will bring up more. At least he certainly did previously. And, I could definitely leave that last run. In fact, I think we've got it good to firm for that race. Time form have it racing good to firm ground for Doncaster, so I think you can easily just put a line straight through it. To be honest, Pipes won this race the last 3 years. Is a competitive race, but I think this is a really well handicapped horse. And at this meeting, there's only one trainer you want to follow, and it's Mr. Dave Pipe, or previous Pipes in the pipeline. Yeah, I know. He's a strong fancy for me tomorrow.
Yeah, Batavia for Callum. I thought I'd take a chance on The Job Is Right. I was a bit disheartened to see that price-wise put him up, because that ruins what was already very much teetering on the edge. Well, it was teetering on the edge about how good the price really was. It was about 7-1. Price-wise has put him up now. He's a bit shorter at that time. But Michael Oregon wouldn't actually send too many horses over to Cheltenham. This was one of them, though, that ran in the 4-miler at the Cheltenham Festival. He was since went a bit downhill after finishing third to Causes in that. Was pulled up 3 times on the bounce. Won last time. I've also got a form line there for our next race as well with the Jacob McManus runner, which I forget the name, that Barry Geraghty is riding. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. The form hasn't overly worked out for that race, which is a bit disheartening, but he did win it fairly comfortably in the end. He's got Paul Townend booked as well. He's only gone up £6, for the English handicapper anyway. He won that race at a mark of 130. This is 136 tomorrow, which I still think could be lenient at his best. Even in the past, he's contested races off much higher marks than this. So The Job Is Right would be the one for me, but in total honesty, it wouldn't really be a race that I'd really want to be getting involved with betting-wise all that much. I respect Batavia that Callum puts up. I assume Adam's going to talk about Batavia again in a bit. But for me, I'd give a chance to The Job Is Right, and also give a chance to Face Value at bigger price, who ran well here. Well enough here last time out. I think Donna Myler riding that day just went a little bit too soon at the top of the hill. It was a typical jockey having his first Cheltenham ride. Got a bit excited at the top of the hill, went too soon. He didn't really have a great deal left as they tackled the hill, but he still stayed on fairly nicely. He didn't jump all that well over the last couple as well, so he shouldn't have been too far away. He was only beaten a length, mind. He did still miss the placings behind Towering to my downfall, because they did back him each way on that occasion, but he's got absolutely no weight. Jonathan Moore takes a further £7 off. I thought 16-1 could be a fairly big price tag for Face Value, but The Job Is Right, the Irish pair, is what I'm going to side with. The Job Is Right, and also Face Value from the Adrian McGuinness yard. Adam, I assume we're going to hear a bit more about Batavia now.
I've not really got much to add on him. I just think he's the one to beat, and he is well handicapped. I'll give you 2 at bigger prices that I do like. Batavia is your likely winner. The 2 at bigger prices, it's interesting that Marita the Burley stays over hurdles, and he's been blinkered first time, with Harry Cobden claiming 7. The ground won't be an issue for him tomorrow. He goes on really testing ground. The trip is fine for him. He needed that first run as well. It was disappointing to read in the Sable Tour that Paul Nicholls now thinks he lacks scope to go chasing. He doesn't think he'd be a real top-notcher over fences, which I didn't expect anyway, but he said it'd be more interesting for handicap chases in time. But I think 16 is a fair price on him. The other one I think is worth a second look with all this rain falling is Ron's Dream, who's a horse that she's only had 1 go at 3 miles, but that was on good ground at Ayr. And to me, her best form has come on soft and heavy ground. And at 25s, I think she's worth a couple of quid each way. So they'd be the 2 I'll be having a bet on. I think Batavia is the one to beat, but I could leave it at the price now.
That's we're getting a little bit short, about 11-2 for David Pipe's charge. But as we mentioned, David Pipe does have many chances throughout the car. He's still got a few more to come. We'll mention one more in the next race. I'm sure he's got a favourite in Herbert Park for our next at Cheltenham. But a quick trip to Wetherby for their next, the 3:15. The Tote Paul liveinfo.com handicap hurdle over 2 miles. 12 go to post for this, and we tipped up a Sue Smith horse in the first race at Wetherby. For me, it could be another one. She's dual-handed here.
Yeah, this is a race that I haven't really given much thought about. Basically, it's not really. Look, put it this way: it wouldn't be on Channel 4 in a normal week. It's just because that Cheltenham's on, and they've only got 2 more slots to fill. This is one of the races they gave. I know you're giving Vendor a chance, but I get the impression that he wants to go up in trip rather than be back at 2 miles. Personally, he has had a run, and Sue Smiths are in really good form. But to me, he wants further. Arthur Secret has shown some decent form over Arthur Secret has shown some decent form over hurdles, but it's another one that's been up in trip as well. I mean, the pick of his form, second behind One Track Mind, and on his handicap mark, I think he'd be the one to beat. But it's just a race that I've got no betting interest in tomorrow. I've just put up Arthur Secret. It's not a race I'm going to have a bet in, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm more interested in the last at Cheltenham that we're going to cover in a minute.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too interested in this at Wetherby for betting purposes. I thought Vendor would be the one that you put up if you had to put a selection. Was with Alan King, and now with the informed Sue Smith yard of a mark of 127. Figure out at his best was rated 138 with Alan King, and Dermot O'Regan takes a further £5 off. He's effectively running off a mark of 122. He has won over this sort of trip in the past. If they make the most of him, then he should be going fairly close. But Vendor will be the one that I side with in our last visit to Wetherby. Vendor for you?
Yeah.
Cool. And go off to Cheltenham now for the 3:35. The Martin & Co. Jewelers Intermediate Handicap hurdle over 2 miles, 5 furlongs and 26 yards. 11 horses go to post here, Adam. And as mentioned, we get to talk about David Pipe a little bit more, teaming up with Thomas Scudamore regarding Herbert Park.
Yeah, Herbert Park, he does look another horse that's well handicapped here, and some of his form last season, he has a really good chance. Especially the win at Kempton, I thought he was quite impressive on that occasion. There is one that I'm interested in. I forgot to mention this horse in the Jumps preview, and I know why I forgot to mention him. He's called Headley Lamar, trained by John Joe O'Neill. The reason I forgot to mention him is because I took Mad Jack Mitten out because of his first run, and a couple of comments saying that he was a very light-framed horse, and potentially he needs time. This horse has only had 2 starts, and he was second behind a horse that me and Luke are big fans of in Great Try, who unfortunately is out for the season and we won't be seen till next season. And then won at Warwick, and this is a race I've had in mind for him through the summer, and I'm pleased to see him here. The ground I don't think will be an issue for him, and this is one that I do think is well handicapped and will improve as the season goes on. The other horse I will mention in this race, I will mention the Longston runner. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because it could be
Young.
Young, is that how you say it?
It was in the Racing Post the other day. He's got like a name like Fred at home or something like that.
Although it is the same owners. He used to have a horse called Songe, so I'm going to go. I want to go for Jean. Either way, it's a stupid name. Either way, it's a stupid name.
I have a good comment about his last race anyway because I had to cover it, and this race was interesting in the fact that the leader went 50 lengths clear, and the cameraman decided that he was just going to concentrate on this one runner throughout the race because it was at a race day. I think it must have been a smaller race day. They only had one camera there to follow the field round. Anyway, this horse fell halfway round, and he was that far clear, this horse. He got up. The jockey could have caught him if he wanted and got back on board, but the horse got up and galloped away. So you can't really tell you very much about the run, but it's just bizarre with this cameraman just following this one horse round. So I couldn't tell you anything about the run apart from 5 out onwards. He did look decent. I will say that on 2 starts ago when he won off a really strong pace actually for French racing, and he could go well tomorrow. But I'm most interested in Headley Lamar tomorrow.
You are such a good.
It's quite a funny video.
While Adam was talking, Callum was watching a vine of a dog dancing to
Toto.
Africa by Toto.
Right, that's an interesting thing. Okay.
I mean, it is amusing and the dog is very cute, but when we watch this video back, Callum's got a lot of amusement out of that video.
That's hilarious.
That's Callum Adele's time form, gentlemen and ladies. Harriet Fuller, the only one that watches. It's a hard race to end things over at Cheltenham for the Channel 4 action tomorrow afternoon. I thought Headley Lamar was an interesting one. Adam's already touched on Headley Lamar. I thought the other one to take into account was Leave It Dawn, the JP Dennis horse that I forgot when we were previewing our last. Seriously, seriously, he's still watching this dog dance to Toto.
It's hilarious. Sorry. So, all right, serious face.
Leave At Dawn.
Sorry.
Was fourth to The Job Is Right last time out. Again, Charles Burns wouldn't be an Irish trainer that brought a lot of horses over to England, full stop. Never mind Cheltenham. He's one that's been hit by the English handicapper a little bit more. He was off 118 the last day. He's off 124 tomorrow afternoon. It doesn't look the most, well, it doesn't look the hardest of races.
Sorry.
Here's timeout.
Okay.
It doesn't look the toughest of races, for all that it does look competitive. Wouldn't have to be that far ahead of his mark of 124 to be getting head in front tomorrow. Again, it's probably not a race I'm going to have a bet in. Herbert Park, probably the one to beat on last year's form, and he probably will have been prepped very much so for this race, or having this race in mind with 229 days off the track. But at the head of the market, he's a little bit too short for that regard, whereas Leave It Dawn has had a run this season. Has already shown some pretty decent form against better horses as well. It should be going fairly close tomorrow afternoon. So Leave It Dawn for myself for the Charles Burns team, teaming up with Barry Geraghty and JP McManus. Anything sticking out for you here, Callum?
I think it's a really competitive race. Really competitive. Tough, isn't it? It really is tough. There's a lot to consider. I like your horse. I think that's got a good chance.
Thanks.
Shaped well last time. Behind The Job Is Right. I thought Adam's horse that he mentioned is really well handicapped. I like the fact that it ran well on debut behind Great Tryon, and last time didn't need to improve to win, but as a result it's actually been given quite a lenient mark, and that could be absolutely chucked in. But then again, a lot of them could be. I mean, Herbert Park, Champagne Express, obviously both are big yards. Young. It's got some decent French form, however you say it. There's a lot to consider. I at the prices, I mean, just because he's the bigger of the four at the head of the betting, I'd probably go for Headley Lamar, because I do think that he's very well handicapped. But there's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
It's not a race I'm betting, but it's definitely one to get your notebook out for.
Exactly, it could be one for the future going forward. The final race we're going to be covering on Channel 4 at Cheltenham from National Hunt Racing's headquarters. Now, would it make you happy if we spoke about Lingfield for a little bit?
Yeah, we can do.
He's jumping for joy inside. We do have two good races at Lingfield. A few people were complaining on Twitter that they're not on Channel 4, and they should really be, because they are much, much better races than Wetherby. So we're going to touch on them very quickly for the 235 at Lingfield. The Unibet Golden Rose Stakes is a fast-track qualifier for All-Weather Championships Day later on in the all-weather season. Run over 6 furlongs and a yard, 12 go to post. The one that stuck out to you that we were talking about a bit earlier on is the only Kevin Ryan runner down at Lingfield. A fairly long way to take a horse down to Lingfield for them with Goken.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Obviously, they got it from Henri Alex Pontal in France. Really fast horse. Obviously, led the Commonwealth Cup field for quite a long way. I mean, that's how fast it is. I think 6 furlongs around Lingfield from a good draw. They don't mess about with the tactics. I know it's got to give weight away. It's got £2 to give away to Polybius and 4 to at least to the rest of the field. But I think it's with a good yard now. I'm not a massive fan of Pontal as a trainer, to be honest, and probably prefer Kevin Ryan. I think he can get out a bit more of it, and I think this will really suit it. And there's no obvious horse that wants to go with him up front, or classy enough to do so.
I was going to say, lights, camera, action, led on the Weather Championship.
Yeah. I mean, that
Magnus Maximus goes forward as well, actually.
Yeah, but he's not this level, is he? I wouldn't be particularly worried about him. Obviously, there's horses that will go forward, but he will lead them. I don't think you'll get into a battle with anything.
That could be the track, Lingfield being the sort of track that really does suit him as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got Polybius and Medici Man, who obviously have, they're very, very good sorts on their day, and they've both run well on the all-weather when they've gone here. When they've done so, one had the chance to do so. So I think that's one to consider. But Goken's a good price.
Is Jamesy Maydown bound? Do you know?
I'd assume so. They'd need to get his mark up, but he won't be able to run off 99.
Be interesting to see how Jamesy goes tomorrow. Then in the second or the championships, fast track qualifier race for tomorrow is the Coral.co.uk Churchill Stakes, run over a mile and 2 furlongs, 14 goes post, Callum. It's a competitive race once more. Maverick Wave was favourite for the Arlington Million a little bit earlier on in the season. He finds himself not favourite for his next at Lingfield.
Yeah, obviously he'll try and front run. I think there's a couple that will want to do that. This Let's Go could just be streets ahead of the rest. I really like this horse. It's favourite. I'm not going to have a bet on it, but at the same time, there's no way I'm opposing it, because I really think this could be the next sort of Trista horse that progresses over the season in the all-weather. I mean, he might even go to Dubai. He's by street crate. He's not really bred for dirt, but you know, he's a really nice horse. Bar his run at Pontefract, where he looked
there's something very
amiss.
Very wrong.
He was really impressive at Wolverhampton in a handicap of 90, and he ran Trista mighty close at Chelmsford last time in what was a good little conditions race. This probably isn't much better, and there's bags of improvement to come, and he's already, I think, the best of this lot anyway, especially with Maverick Wave shouldering a hefty penalty. I'd be very disappointed if that horse didn't win.
Fair enough. A pretty strong vote then for Let's Go. Anything, Adam, that you desperately wanted to point out at Lingfield?
Yeah, firefighting. That competition we had between me, you and Hattie, he ended up having 10 runs. So my prediction of 12 wasn't far wrong. Your prediction, I think, was 8. And Hattie, I think Hattie wins. I'm sure she said 10 or 11. So, yeah, good old firefighting. Still going after, I think it's 28 starts he's had this year. And he's still
had a nice
lost
little
his
break
score.
after a week off. I think I worked out earlier. He hasn't since. I need to get this right. Was it since May 2014? He's only had 1 month off.
Wow, that is a.
He's only missed 1 month. So he hasn't raced in 1 month, which was December. He ran 26th of November and the 22nd of January. So he had 2 months off. That's it.
He's the dream horse to own. I mean, people obviously want. People will obviously want.
Someone's trying to sell him.
People would want great group and graded horses, but if you get a horse like him who can run in these big handicaps, can run in listed and group events, he's the dream horse to own. Good on him, and I hope he continues in his rich vein of form. I think Let's Go should be streets ahead of that field, though. He does look a really nice horse.
Yeah, very much. So we've got plenty of questions to get stuck into. We've covered all the races. Only 6 to cover this week on the other hoof. So a fairly quick one this time around, but plenty of questions to get to. Still time to get your questions and fancies in as well. At On The Other Hoof is our Twitter tag, and we'll read out every single question and fancy that is put to us. So right now, starting off with Jason Herridge saying, are the pipes running Batavir in the right race there? Thought 2.5 miles would be more suitable with the rain around. I'm going to direct this one to you. Any worries about the race choice for Batavir tomorrow?
No, I think he shapes as if he wants 3 miles. So yeah, and I think the ground is exactly what he wants. Obviously, it's going to be quite a stamina test tomorrow, but it's not going to put me off.
Yeah, fair enough. That's regarding Batavir. Kev the Punter says Sego success in a 3 mile race. Herbert's Park in the 2 mile 5 at 10 to 1 and 5 to 1.
Yeah.
Have you got it at 10 to 1 and 5 to 1? Okay. Irish Cavalier in the big one. Tricky betting day all around. I don't get that, but any thoughts?
Sego says this at 10s and Herbert's Park at 5s.
Yeah, they're right.
Right, okay. Horrible laying out the tweet. Horrible laying out. Must do better. Must do better. Roman de Sanam for Paul Nichols tomorrow. Thoughts on that one from Kai Wills? Roman de Sanam, it was very impressive.
I thought that was a guy tweeting in. Roman de Sanam.
That'd be an amazing name to have. It was impressive on. I imagine I'm going to divert this one more towards Adam. It was very impressive on his debut over in this country, but a bit of a tougher ask tomorrow, albeit not the strongest of races.
I think he's the one to beat tomorrow. With this rain coming, I think it's more of a positive for him. Jumped well at Wincanton. I do like Ocean though, but the problem is the ground. He wants decent ground, and with all this rain, I think it's a huge negative for him.
Does he want decent ground?
Ocean, yeah. Alan King was keen to stress after Kempton that he wants decent ground for him.
Fair enough. Roman de Sanam being by Saint-Descent shouldn't have too many problems regarding the ground for tomorrow. Kai Wills then goes on to say, and Tom Portu, is he banker material? That's one of the races that we didn't cover for Channel 4 tomorrow. There was it's an okay novices chase over 3 miles. We've got the likes of ahead of Mark we've got on Tom Portu. We've also got Black Lion, Vintage Finney. 12 Rose is an interesting one after his win at Wetherby last time out. And Tom Portu is currently about 13 to 8. I saw a bit earlier on. I'm not sure if he's still that price, but he would be. Well, he'd be streets ahead of these on ability, Adam.
Yeah, he would be. The only danger for me tomorrow is 12 Roses, because I don't think Black Lion, as much as I love Black Lion, he's such a trier. I don't think he's a chaser. Vicente, I don't like over fences. Vintage Vinny was running well last time out, but he's got to get over that. I think on Tom Portu should be winning tomorrow. They won this race with King's Palace a year ago when he was getting all the weight concession from the rest of them, and I think he'll follow suit.
Yeah, I think, and Tom Portu should really be winning. He's 5 to 4 best price. I thought each way you could take Vintage Finney and get a run for your money. 8 to 1 was running very well last time. Jumped okay on the hold. Has made one niggly mistake about, I think it was 3 out when he came down. But before that was looking like a real player in the finish. And then Kai Wills goes on to say, our usual favourite question of the week that gets sent in. It's got nothing to do with anything that we talk about here on the other days. I think it's a poor one this week, Kai. I have to say, you've let yourself down a bit, saying, what's your favourite box set you've watched? The Killing is Mine. #brilliant. Now, I've never watched a series as a box set per se. I've watched them while they've been on TV. So I'm not sure if I'm eligible for this question.
You've never watched a box set?
Well, I got Only Fools and Horses as a box set one Christmas, all 7 series, so I'll count that as a box set.
See, I've never watched a box set per se. I've just watched them while they've been TV shows.
Yeah. Breaking Bad just is amazing. One of my favourites is Luther. I love Luther. New series coming up as well. It's a great show.
And sorry, not a clue. Not a clue. KJ the second has tweeted in saying, in a Bigfoot handicap, will King's Palace not appreciate a trip of 2 mile 5 far more than 3 miles? But he's getting 2.5 miles. 2.4 tomorrow, KJ. That's a little bit shorter than 2.5. Personally, well, myself and Callum, I know we agree that he's not a 3 miler.
Ages.
Yeah. Adam, sorry.
He's not a 3 mile. I agree with both of you. He's not a 3 miler. I'm more concerned about a big field tomorrow. The trips, no problem. It's the big field and the fact that he will not be able to dominate a 20 runner handicap like he can a 3 runner novice chase around Cheltenham. He looks really impressive in them circumstances, but twice he's been pressed for the lead. That's in the Albert Bartlett and the RSA chase. He's come unstuck. That's actually something I didn't say about King's Palace. It's a worry for me tomorrow. When he's put under pressure early on, is his jumping going to suffer? Because it did for me in the RSA.
Yeah, he is prone to the odd error for all he's extravagant and exuberant at quite a lot of them. And he's a brilliant jumper of a hurdle.
He's a bloody good looking horse as well.
Yeah.
He's a real steeplechasing looker on physical looks, but he's got a few questions to answer tomorrow. If he wins tomorrow, I think he'd have answered all of those questions because it's a really tough race for any horse to win.
Yeah. If he wins tomorrow,
I'll never see him at 3 miles again. It would be great.
If he wins tomorrow, it'll make me look really, really stupid, which is what most horses have done these last couple of weeks, like Bobsworth. Oh, God.
Hattie Fuller from The Sun as well. Congratulations, Hattie, on your job at The Sun. Being as politically correct here as The Sun usually are, saying more like in a big field, King's Palace will not confirming himself as a dog once again. That's
not a dog.
That's The Sun being politically correct once more. Cheers, Hattie. Kije second then goes back in and said, have connections shown too much to the handicapper in winning a decent conditions race with Irish Cavalier? No, not
really. It was a plan for him to start his season. He was meant to go to the Charlie Hall, but then didn't go. So
says a lot.
Yeah, it says a lot that they're already contemplating running him in those sort of races. I think that's a big compliment to the horse.
I was surprised he didn't get a Hennessy entry. I thought he'd have got an entry there because he does stay as well.
Yeah, possibly.
It's more about this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kev the Punter then tweets in a question that we've already sort of answered to an extent, saying, do you agree that Ocean should be clear favourite in the opener and that 7 to 4 is too big?
No,
we said,
on the ground. Yeah.
Well, plus Roman de Sinam could be very good.
Yeah, I've not got a clue about that horse though.
He was very impressive. He was very impressive at Wincanton first time out, but how good he's going to be. Your guess is as good as mine in that regard. But he does have all the right connections and does have all the right attributes going towards this sort of race. Alex Bellew tweets in saying, present view, chaps, can the return to Cheltenham and the addition of Blinkers spark a revival of a lower mark than when fourth last year? So horses had a few problems as well.
What price was that in the week?
Present view?
Yeah.
I saw about 20, 25 to 1.
Oh, okay. I thought he was much shorter and he drifted like a barge because he's 25 now.
He needs to come back because his last couple of starts. Well, he ran all right at Chepstow. If he was coming straight here from Chepstow, I'd probably be keen on him. But he went to Ascot and was really disappointed. The Blinkers really need to help him.
Yeah. All over him last year.
Yeah, I was as well. Very much so.
We all went, oh.
Jeff Handley tweets in saying, good evening. Good evening to you as well, Jeff. My two for the Paddy Power, Boonduma, trainer's target, travel strong, acts on any going, stays 2.5 mile type to win a big handicap, and also goes for Bywise. I will appreciate the fast run pace, be held up to finish strongly. Trainer in form, 5 winners from the last 10 runs. Good luck.
Well, Jeff,
the thing is,
we're very much in agreement there.
Very quickly, just on Bywise, he has to jump. If he makes mistakes,
that's my problem. I mean, they're going to go a real gallop in the Paddy Power. He's going to have very little time to think about his fences. He's either going to go one way or another, or he's going to hit the deck very early on.
No.
You stick to your flat shite, and I will talk about what I know.
The thing with Bywise,
I said shite.
in his defence, he is unbelievably talented. The problem is he can't jump. And I said it at the festival as well, and I said it every time he ran last season. It's just, I'm going to keep saying it. And then when he wins one day, I'll finally say, right, I was wrong. But I still...
His jumping's getting better on the main, I think.
If you want to see a horse for the same owners and same connections that will be better than Bywise, let's watch Contour's chasing debut at Exeter. He is a proper chaser, is that. Alex Bellew's second tweet of the evening says, Sausalito Sunrise to me looks on a lovely mark and goes well at this time of year. I'm finding it very hard to side with Sausalito Sunrise. I'm not the biggest fan of the horse in the first place. I think he's criminally overrated. But coming off the back of what he did last time and being pulled up with no explanation at all before 2 out or 3 out at Chepstow, he was running very well on that occasion, but you just have no idea. It's a very much an unknown about what to expect for tomorrow, coming off the back of something that's just completely baffling in what seemed to look like he was running a big race, travelling strongly, to being pulled up in a matter of strides.
Step up in trip will, if he is over all his problems, I do think the step up in trip will bring about improvement with him. He's a real sane handicap chaser to follow if all his problems are gone.
Tony Amato tweets in saying, 12 roses for me. Form has been franked. Also, Copper Key in the bumper. Although Whisper is Henderson's opinions, lads, on that. Also, I fancy Bacchanal in the 4 o'clock at Utox to 8 to 1 each way, bet to nothing. All the best. All the best to you, Tony. Copper Key's a horse Copper Key's a horse that I know Dan Barber of Timeform was tipping up. I think he's tried to get you to back it as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been going on about it. Yeah.
Copper Key comes with a fairly strong word on that regard. 12 roses with it. Interesting on his chase debut at Wetherby, Adam. He's got some very decent form, none and more so than that 5th of Faheen in the Neptune, which is decent form looking at any way you look at it, really. But I'm still not signed over, to be honest.
He really, apparently, according to a couple of paddock judges, he really needed the run as well. And he'll probably come on for that. When you said Bacchanal then, I thought of Nicky Henderson's Stayers hurdle winner.
No, it's Bacchanal. I didn't think that as well. He did spell it like Bacchanal, but it's Bacchanal. Fair
enough. I was just about to say that the ex-Hendo horse, but no. I do like Copper K tomorrow. I think she's the one to beat in that mare's bumper. I think it's a strong mare's bumper as well, but I think she's the one to beat.
It's interesting that which one is which is related to Copper King.
Presenting Copper. What a mare she was. Just looking through some of these dams as well, because you see when you see these mare's bumpers and you see some of the dams, like Just Jasmine is a horse I remember in a handicap, being a really good handicap chaser. Yeah, good time.
We didn't have enough time to get the YouTube 10 hours later.
During the war.
When I was in the war. Dale has tweeted to us saying, are you going to enter At the Razor Stable Stars League? I hadn't planned on it, to be honest.
I have. I've entered a couple.
Adam has.
I'm in Mullies.
If what your question was saying, though, Phil, is are we going to start on the other hoof separate league on that?
Too late now.
Yeah, well, I wasn't planning on it anyway, so...
What was I? I'll just enter other people's. Mullies and the Final Furlong pods are the ones I've entered, so...
Don't mention the Final Furlong pod on our show. That's the rival. Much bigger and more successful rival, I'll give them that. But rivals nonetheless.
No, off the bridle. That's our main net.
Yeah, off the bridle. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Show your faces off the bridle.
I think Resident Scousers, like...
Yeah, Adam, we're kicking you off the bridle.
Yeah.
You're going to that show now.
What? Oh,
I think one Resident Scouse is enough.
Yeah, exactly. 3 of them is just annoying.
Yeah.
One's annoying, in fairness. But Lee Armstrong said, a dead heat between Boondoomer and Anacotti, please. Copper Key is a beast of a mare in the last. So, again, another one for Copper Key. Boondoomer and Anacotti. We haven't mentioned Anacotti in his first run for the Alan King yards. Was surrounded by a lot of controversy in the summer. Unneeded controversy as well for a handicapper switching yards. But
how many Grade 1 winners have you been associated with?
but
I'm sure King will whip him into shape anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there has been support for Anacotti throughout the week, and Alan King has been fairly vocal about how well he thinks he is at home. He thinks about 12-1 chance now, Anacotti, which he's going to be one of the horses going forward. Whether he gets to dominate, I'm not 100% sure.
He won't get to dominate, and I think if it's like the Hennessy last year, he'll sulk.
It'll be interesting to see what Alan King has done with him, though.
He's got cheap pieces. He hasn't got blinkers on, which is interesting. Which is the same he had at Cheltenham on trials day, but that was an awful race, so I wouldn't really read that. He's the only Grade 1 winner of offences in the race, so a bit like the Hennessy.
Jeff Handley has tweeted in again a lovely picture of Sago Success from Chepstow last time out. He's got a siding with Sago Success for tomorrow. It says was 5th to drop out Joe last time out, will come on for the run, but needs to jump a bit better than that. And Matt Wynn, who had a good win today, so well done, Matt, on that regard. He says, we'll watch later, because he's down in Australia at the moment, touring in much sunnier places. He's everywhere. I'm going to say Australia. That's where he wants to be. Had a very quick glance at the likes, and Tom Portu, brackets, Sago Success, Coggery, and Irish Cavalier. Good luck with those. Matt, Tony Marto tweeting again, saying, again, just like to say thanks for your mate's horse at Chelmsford the other night. Wouldn't we all? Bridge of Size. Well done for backing Bridge of Size last week. Though I think we were all on, except for Adam.
Well, no, because I'm a curse at the minute, so...
Yeah, that's true. Thank you very much, Adam.
What I was going to say, if I'd had a bet that won at Aintree, I'd have backed Bridge of Size, but as nothing had gone right, I thought, if I back this and it loses, everybody will blame me, so...
I'll blame you anyway.
I know you do.
Matt Wynn has then come back in saying, Smalley's way on the dog, Jeffrey Chambertin.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Good luck with Jeffrey Chambertin. And Phil Dinsdale back in saying, thoughts on Atlantic Gold in the 3 o'clock at Cheltenham. Was a good winner last time out.
Charlie's first Cheltenham.
One needed. But won well last time, didn't it?
Yeah, more needed for sure. And I'd say one more tweet directed towards Callum from Stu Jimbo Williams says, if you're one of the people complaining that Channel 4 aren't covering Lingfield, my sympathies. Hope you get better soon. #crazy.
Oh.
I'm not going to lose sleep over it since I don't really watch Channel 4 anyway.
Why do we cover Channel 4 racing, yet we watch them on the major racing channels? At
the same time, I don't see any reason why those 2 races shouldn't be on Channel 4 as well as Wetherby anyway. But I can understand why they're doing it. But at the same time, they're far better races than what Wetherby have got on. So why shouldn't they be on the racing channel showing the best racing of the day? I don't care what you say. It's a fairly valid argument.
Yeah, no, it is completely. I think we've also got the off the bridle show wrong. It's on the bridle, apparently.
On the bridle?
On the bridle.
Oh, it's on the bridle.
According to other scouts, Tony Amato, so I assume he knows.
No, so it's a good show. There's a lot of scousers.
A lot. But actually, a good luck to one of them, actually, was Splash of Ginge for tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
John Neal's
a goodwill towards our rivals on the bridle. Best of luck to John Neal and the gang with Splash of Ginge for tomorrow.
Graham Woods has sent in a question. It's been tweeted to me. It has been tweeted to the account as well, but because he's a private account, I can only say it, but you can't. He's asked for an assessment on Double Ross tomorrow. He looks overpriced. Him and John Spirit are the only horses to place in Grade 1s, he thinks, and he gets £7 from John Spirit. To be fair to Double Ross, him and Pendrell were the first 2 horses I ruled out at Ascot. So there was your forecast for starters. Got back in triple helping. Drop back in triple helping, soft ground. He'll go well tomorrow, I think. I think he wouldn't shock me if he was in the first 4.
He's well handicapped, loves the conditions. I think one of those races later on in the year at Cheltenham, maybe that December meeting.
Maybe New Year's Day as well, something like that. Also, one more in from Sunil Kumar saying generous ransom each way, 225 at Cheltenham. Also, there's the Paddy Power, the feature race of the day, Sunil. So very interesting with Darragh Jacob on board. Cheers. Thank you to you, Sunil. The final question of the evening, leaving us with just naps to go forward with now. I don't know about you guys, but Adam, I'm struggling this week.
I'm just going to go with Copper K in the bumper. I really like her. Just before we finish, a couple of horses I like on Sunday. Days of Heaven in the Greatwood along with Dexite. And also one of my horses to follow, Be Daring in the listed bumper. I'm quite excited to see. Soft ground will really help him because he didn't like good to firm ground at Wincanton. So they're three I'm looking out for on Sunday. The nap will be Copper K.
Yeah, well, Devilman will beat your Greatwood horses. He's so well handicapped, and 14 to 1 is
So
defensive price.
The other two as well. Yeah.
That Devilman. Cal, you go with your nap.
Batterville.
Good. I'm really struggling here.
Just go with Boone Doomer.
Yeah,
You've been going on at me all week about Boone Doomer. You've got to go for him.
I really don't know. Yeah, I'll side with Boone Doomer then in the Paddy Power. It's not a betting weekend for me, to be honest. Until we get to Sunday, I think Devilman is probably the bet of the weekend, which may even keep my powder dry for tomorrow. Can I put Sundays up? Can we?
Yeah, you can.
Actually, yeah, we can. Okay, Devilman is my nap of the weekend in the Great One.
Boone Doomer wins.
All over Devilman. Yeah, when Boone Doomer wins, then.
Surprised you didn't nap Faheen at 1-8, but
He's 1-4 with Paddy Power.
1-4. Jesus.
Yeah, that's outstanding value.
Yeah.
Like I'm contemplating just putting everything I own on him to win 100 quid.
And then he unseats. Oh god.
Thank you for joining us once again, guys. Outstanding dedication as always.
No worries.
Enjoy enjoy the racing if you're going to Cheltenham tomorrow afternoon. Take a brolly because I've been told that it's meant to be raining. It's meant to be a fairly damp afternoon, but best of luck this weekend if having a bet. We look forward to seeing the likes of Fahim back on Sunday along with Sprinter Sacra. But until next week, have a good weekend. Successful punting. Goodbye.